The Washington Wizards are at the start of their journey. They're at the start of a long but promising road that should lead to success. Last year, Washington was arguably the worst team in the league, and they might just be that going into this upcoming season. They won just 18 games, last in the East, second worst in the NBA. They had the worst offense in the NBA. They were a bottom 3 defense, a bottom 3 shooting team. Despite being one of the worst, one of the most unwatchable teams in the entire NBA, the Wizards might just have one of their best seasons in years. Not from a record standpoint, but from a hope and optimism standpoint. Welcome to 30 Teams in 30 Days. This is the last episode of talking about every single team for an entire month. So thank you guys for all your support, and thank you guys if you are still here. But let's get into this last episode breaking down the Washington Wizards. Quietly, the Washington Wizards are foregoing mediocrity. I won't even say that they're purposely tanking, but they are strategically rebuilding, with a lot of this being done through the draft. No more of the Wizards just acquiring mediocre talent, pushing for the play-in, just trying to sell tickets. No more questionable contracts, rushing the rebuild, or just trying to stay in the middle, just trying to stay afloat. The Wizards are embracing the slow path. The Wizards are embracing the Oklahoma City Thunder path. Build a young core, collect draft picks, and it makes sense. GM Will Dawkins worked for the Thunder for over 15 years. He watched that team collect assets that earned them a championship. His boss, Michael Winger, also worked in the OKC front office for nearly a decade. The leaders of the Wizards have seen how to build a dynasty, and they are in the process of making their own. Washington is one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and with that comes inexperience. But also with that comes hope. Comes potential. Justin Champagnie at 24 years old got one of his first real chances in the league, and he averaged 9 points, 6 boards on 51% from the field and 38% from 3. That's the efficiency the Wizards need. Also at 24 on a 2-way contract is star FSU forward Jameer Watkins. Watkins was a 4-year college player, but as a senior he averaged 18, 6, and 2 on solid efficiency. While he may not play much, there is no reason for the Wizards not to give him a shot. The 22-year-old Tristan Vukcevic averaged 9.5 points in just 15 minutes per game. His per 36 minutes, he is averaging 23 points and 9 rebounds per game while being a promising defender and still a young player. He only has 45 games under his belt, so he is inexperienced, but there is some potential here. A new addition in Malachi Branham is an interesting player. His box score stats have dipped from his rookie season, but he's coming off of the best per 36 stats of his career. On top of that, he was quite efficient for the Spurs, and the Wizards sorely need it with his 46, 41, 82 shooting splits, and on top of that, he's a pretty intriguing defender. Kyshawn George is also a good defender, and he is a long, athletic wing who can handle the ball a bit, and he averaged an inefficient 9, 4, and 2. He's gonna have to get better from the field, but for a late round draft pick on the worst team in the league, he had a decent rookie season. Nobody's expecting the 24th overall pick on the worst team in the league to have an efficient rookie season, so I don't look at George's first year in that bad of a light. At the other forward spot is one of my favorite players on this team, Bilal Coulibaly. I think Coulibaly is an incredibly enticing player. He's even younger than Kyshawn George, just turning 21 years old, but he is headed into his 3rd year in the league. Coulibaly took a huge leap across the board. He averaged 4 more points, he doubled his assists, and he added in a rebound per game. On top of that, he's a very promising defender who can guard just about any position at 6'8". Following the All-Star break last season, he went from 41 to 45% from the field. That is very promising, and he did shoot nearly 35% from 3 in his rookie season, so there's some hope that he can come back to be a more efficient player. But if there is anybody on this team that can break out, in my opinion, it's Bilal Coulibaly, and he is somebody to watch for this season. Also going along with him at the forward spot is one of the other new additions, and that is Cam Whitmore. Whitmore is someone who is seen with a ton of upside. He was just 20 years old last year, and he averaged 9, 3, and 1 on 44, 35, 75 shooting splits. The Wizards got him for next to nothing, like 2 second-round draft picks, so getting an explosive athlete with a chip on his shoulder is only going to be good for this team, and he's even said that he wants to prove himself, and he has circled that game against Kevin Durant and the Rockets. AJ Johnson is a raw 21-year-old, and the 21st overall pick, Will Riley, will be only 20 at the end of the season. Riley is a 6'8" point guard who came off the bench most of last year in college, but he showed some ability to hit a tough shot as well as score out of the isolation in his limited minutes. minutes. Another exciting piece is Alex Sarr. He finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting, averaged 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists with 2.5 stocks per game. That's blocks plus steals combined. On a bad team, he proved his worth both on offense and on defense. The biggest area of concern, but area of improvement for Sarr could be his efficiency. As a 7-footer, he shot just 39% from the field. However, he was on a bad team and he just now turned 20 years old. The center position is one of the most difficult positions to adjust to in the NBA, especially for a foreign big man, so just give Sarr time. I think he's going to be alright. Bub Carrington is another promising player at the point guard position. Last year he played every single game, he averaged 10, 4, and 4, and while his efficiency and defense needs to be worked on, like Sarr, he was just a teenager last year. And that's the thing with this Wizards team. They are incredibly young. They really only have a few older players on the team, the most notable ones being CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton, guys who I think can do an excellent job in keeping the team afloat as well as mentoring these young players. Middleton and McCollum are also good shooters who can help out the spacing and efficiency of this team, and I think that's going to allow for guys like Carrington and like Sarr to have a little bit more operating space and allow them to develop and just work on their own games. Washington is one of the youngest teams in the league, and of course with everyone I mentioned, they're not all going to stick to the NBA. No team can be that successful and that lucky through the draft. But that's the thing, the Wizards have a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of chances to hit the right pick. So while not having the most in the NBA, the Wizards definitely have some decent picks, especially I think those Suns picks. As a Suns fan, that is going to turn into something. So this team is going to have a few more opportunities to hit in the draft, and like I said, and like I've shown you, they have a very young roster with some promising pieces. All it takes is a few of these guys to become rotational players. All it takes is a few of these guys to become a good starter, and maybe even just one of them to become an all-star or maybe even all-NBA level player. That alone will put you into a decent spot, especially in the Eastern Conference, and that alone could draw in free agents, and that is how you can build a dynasty. One piece at a time. We've seen time and time again in the NBA that going out and signing a bunch of players and trying to build a big three is no longer the strategy. Depth is. Depth is the strategy. Culture is the strategy. Being a homegrown team is the strategy, and that is what the Washington Wizards are building. This is not going to be a great team in 2026, potentially not even in 2027. I don't expect a lot of people are going to be tuning in for Washington Wizards games, so if you are still here, you are probably the kind of person to watch the Washington Wizards because you want to watch Alex Sarr develop. You want to see if Bilal Coulibaly can become a better star. You want to see if some random ass second round pick can become a decent player in this league. Just because this won't be a good year doesn't mean it's a wasted year. It is a year of development. It is a year of culture building. It is a year of this core playing together. The average fan will not watch Washington, but you probably will, because you're insane just like me. Look for potential. See the stars before they become stars. Say you were there when the Washington Wizards rebuilt, and you were there when the Washington Wizards could become one of the best teams in the NBA, even if it's a half decade from now. This was the final episode of 30 teams in mostly 30 days. If you are here, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for helping the channel grow. I am so thankful to all of you guys, and we have more stuff coming up. This is definitely not the end, especially as we are ramping up into the NBA season. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and I will catch you all next time.